This portfolio is considered by many as the very best you can possibly create, at least in crypto. And today, I'm going to give you all the secrets to actually finding this portfolio. Now, for those of you inclined to look at the timestamps and skip ahead just to the juicy parts, well, go ahead if you really want to, but I really encourage you not to, because ultimately there are steps involved in this. It's not just a one-size-fits-all portfolio, because ultimately every other YouTuber tends to do those sort of videos, and literally it doesn't apply to a majority of the market. So I'm going to take you through step by step on how to find the very best portfolio to suit your needs in crypto. So let's start with the portfolio most crypto YouTubers tend to lead you, right? And that's this, the safest possible route. Now, the interesting thing is, again, there's no one size to fit all. I know most of you guys watching my videos, at least, don't want the safest possible bet. So here's where we're going to start, okay? This is where they tend to lead you. They typically say, well, 50% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, that's the safest bets. 20% in large caps, and 10% divided between small and mid caps. Now, ultimately, this is great for someone who wants to preserve their wealth. If you're already a millionaire or have a lot of money, and you're just in crypto to gain that little bit extra just to ensure that, well, of course, you're going to beat inflation, right? But that you're keeping your wealth, right? Wealth preservation. Now, what this actually looks like, right? Broken up into what I call my, risk appetite tiers, is 70% in low risk, low reward. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. You have, that 20% in the low risk, medium reward, and 10% divided in the medium risk, high reward. You're not exposed to the high risk, extremely high reward, which is okay for most people, but you're overexposed, in my opinion, at least for my viewers, in the low risk, low reward section. Now, again, this isn't a one size fit all video. It's impossible for me to give you a portfolio that is going to be 100% happy for everyone. I'm going to have most of my comments people saying this ain't good, right? So let's talk about how you can take this and tailor it to yourself to fit what you like in this very, very simple video, right? Now, again, okay, this is going to give you some indication of what I'm talking about here. This obviously changes with bull and bear markets, but ultimately, your top two projects, right, 100 billion market cap plus, are your low risk, low rewards. They're low risk because, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least right now, they're pretty safe bets, okay? You're not going to take Ethereum or Bitcoin out of the market and everything's going to be fine and dandy, okay? So that's the safest bets, and that's going to give you the least amount of rewards. Obviously, then this waterfall trickles down. You have low risk, medium rewards. They're still between the 1 billion market cap to the 100 billion market cap. And then from there, medium risk, high reward to the, top 300s, 100 mil market cap to 1 billion, and then below, right, sub $100 million. That's the, micro caps we always speak of. So that's obviously going to offer you the highest returns possible, but ultimately, the question you need to land yourself on is this: how much can you actually afford to lose? Now, these pie charts are on your screen here in black. This is what you have to actually ask yourself. If you have $10,000 to spend, and this is what I tell my, hidden gem blueprint, members on Patreon, is ask yourself, and I sit there with them sometimes and say, if you can't afford to lose a single penny, then it's simple, right? We're going to find projects that suit that need. If you're someone who's all in the game and you don't give a crap if you lose $10,000, this is just pure fun. Ultimately, you're going to be pretty sad, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? Well, then you can afford to go into really risky projects, of course, if you want to. Right? And of course, you go to 10%, 20%, whatever it is, 50%. But what this is going to do is allow you to create a risk appetite chart that most people don't talk about. I don't know why YouTubers don't talk about this, right? This is the most simple thing that everyone should be telling anyone investing, crypto, or not. So low risk, low reward obviously is for the people like the influencer chart back here, that just wants to preserve their wealth, right? If you're really scared, you can't afford to lose your money, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck, you need this to pay off. It's simple. Make a clean 5 to 10x, guys. This is most than most other industries, okay? Your low risk, medium reward, of course, you're still quite low risk. Of course, nothing is guaranteed at this level as well, but you're getting a bit more returns back. That's why it's a lighter green, and as we go on, so on and so forth. But you can begin to create this pie chart based on how much you're willing to lose. It's as simple as that, right? So then from this, you need to locate the projects based in this category. This is one step, okay? We're not finding individual projects just yet. Keep that in mind, all right? We're just simply locating the projects in the different tiers. For example, again, Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is the low risk, low reward, and it trickles right down to the sub, 100 million, where we're talking about, Saito, Covalent, Affinity, Energy Web Token. These are micro caps that have a lot of potential, i.e. extremely, high reward, but they're also very high risk, meaning that, they're very volatile. If you're someone who's prone to feeling like a down day 10%, you're going to, lose your mind and be checking your phone 24/7, then of course, this is why it's extremely high risk, because these are newer projects. Typically, they are projects that have less market dominance, that people just don't feel as confident investing in, and therefore they're susceptible to any negative or FOMO that comes their way, right? Likewise, if positive news comes their way, that's why they obviously are extremely high reward, because they have high profits, okay? So what we need to do then, and this is something again that you need to understand, is you need to find the narrative. Don't just look at the projects and go, oh, pick one, pick one, pick one, pick one. You need to see if they're going to actually be viable in 2025. Now, I'm not going to go any more depth with this because I have an individual video breaking down why narratives are so important, but you don't want to be investing in something that doesn't actually plan to take off in 2025. Now, some of the projects I talk about on my channel are such projects where they're going to be great long-term holds. You're probably 1,000x over the next 20 years, if they survive that long, of course. But ultimately, you need to go, okay, is this going to be viable in 2025? If you need those returns in the next 3 or so years, well, ultimately, you need to refocus what projects you're investing in. If you're someone like me who loves the infrastructure projects, who loves real world utility projects, well, ultimately, some of those aren't going to fit in the narratives that are going to take off in 2025. Now, majority of our market is pure speculation. Most of this is just retail curiosity, right? That's the last bull markets and probably majority of the next bull market. But there will be more institutional and national demand coming through, which means as long as the token of the project you're looking at can absorb that demand, well, the price is going to go up quite a lot. You just need to pick the right projects, okay? So I hope this has made a bit of sense to you. Essentially, just to recap so far, right? Ignore the typical, one-size-fits-all crypto influencer videos. You need to sit down with yourself and look at how much you can afford to lose. I've sat in front of a mirror before and just thought, meditated on this, okay? Next, right? Fill out the gaps. Based on what you're saying, where do you want to place your portfolio? Again, I can help you out with this if you guys need to with one-on-one calls. Then you need to find the projects, or at least break up the tiers in these sort of sections. You might find that most of your projects don't fit in that category that you actually need to begin investing in, and then locate the narratives. Very simple, right? And then from there, you can begin finding the individual projects and vetting them from there. This is where it gets fun, okay? So this is us actually breaking up what this all looks like. This is the premise of the video. And I guess if you're joining me right now, you've skipped from the timestamps down below. Welcome. Okay. So we essentially need to break up what it looks like in each of these sections. So over here, we've got low risk, low reward. What does this look like? Well, this looks similar to, what the crypto influencers were suggesting before. If you can't afford to lose any money, well, you're going to put most of it in Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, but you're still going to speculate a little bit, right? It's never guaranteed when you start moving away from this top tier, but ultimately you can, if you'd like to, of course, depending if you don't want to lose 100% of your portfolio, begin to dabble a little bit down there. Next, we have, low risk, medium reward. So it's lower risk still, but we're getting a bit more returns because we start dabbling in the medium risk, medium reward level, okay, high reward level rather. So you can see it's kind of like taping out, right? If you have low risk at the top and then you have 20%, 80%, and 20%, that's going to mean low risk, right, but high reward, essentially, or medium reward. It all tapers out over time, right? So over here we have the medium risk, high reward, of course, 0, 0, 80, 20, and I think most people watching this video would probably fall in this category. Now, this last portfolio is, I think a lot of people will fall in as well, and it's the high risk, extremely high reward, of course, 80-20, right? But we can begin to double around a bit, and this is where it gets very fun, right? This is going to depend per person, so I want to reiterate, if you need help, let me know. This is critical for your success in your portfolio, okay? So yeah, whatever you play around with, just know you have a selection of projects within that category. Now, it's important to remember, if you can invest $10,000 tomorrow in these projects, you need to divide that $10,000 up into the percentages you have on screen. Therefore, you'd have whatever it might be, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 1,000, 1,000, okay? It's again proportionate to how much you can invest. And this just goes on, right? So this might be 30% risk, for example, all right? This might be 60% risk. So you're being a bit more risky here. As you can see, I'm really carrying that 60% risk, the risk profiles, from the medium and high risk here. Okay, not the low risk sort of ones, more so the high risk, the bottom quadrants. And as we can see, the 100% risk would look just as I showed you before, majority in the higher risk and obviously a little bit in the medium risk, but of course it's 100% risk because these are very, very volatile projects, even in the mid-cap levels, okay? And what this would essentially look like is you need to come through and actually get the projects and just add them in. It's great. Sometimes colors might sound ridiculous to you and wasting your time adding colors and boxes to and planning this stuff out. But I tell you right now, it definitely helps with tracking, right? And check this out. This is something I haven't actually touched on right now. So I definitely teach these 4 tiers, right? Your low risk, low reward, low risk, medium risk, high reward, and of course, high risk, extremely high reward. But there is a secret 5th section that I don't talk about, and that's this, and which definitely applies to the people in this tier, and that's meme/startup. So meme projects in general are purely based on the fact that other people think they're going to make money, right? So it's heavily volatile, but crypto is notorious for it, of course. So that's why I've added in the high risk, extremely high reward. Matter of fact, that's a typo. It's supposed to be extremely ultra high reward, okay? These are the projects you need to look at, right? So it's also this startup, so the sub 1 million projects where you might not have a team public yet. Things might be a bit shaky, i.e. the website might not be finished and the protocol itself might not be anywhere near complete and it's kind of, going off hopium in a way, right? Very small communities. So this is what you have to think of, guys. Again, I feel very, very disingenuous if I made this video and gave you a single portfolio to look at and said, this is the portfolio for you. It ain't the truth, and I will never do that, right? So you need to assess your risk portfolios, and these might help you. These percentages here, 20, 30, 60, and 100% risk might give you some guidance as to your answer to that self-reflection time. The most important thing I want to reiterate is I can help you out. Now, by all means, if you don't have the money for this, don't spend the money on this. Now, this template you're seeing on your screen now, for those that are wondering, will be available for my Emerald tier Patreon members, right? But I also have a tier called a Builder Portfolio Gem Finding tier where I take you through 2 calls a week over a month period and, multiple other, voice message calls. I'm going to help you create your own portfolio based on this sort of template. But if you also just want to pick my brain and have a one-on-one call, that's about $150. So you are saving your money with a month membership. Ultimately, though, it's all going to be in the link tree down below. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.